How you guys doing this morning? Hope all is well. Happy Sunday. Hope you guys is good and safe. Yep, I'm back, baby. I'm back. Like and subscribe button and follow me at Terrence underscore Gaston on my YouTube channel. Also follow me on Instagram at Terrence underscore Gaston and TikTok Terrence underscore Gaston. Yeah, man, I'm back, baby. I'm back, and it's been a while, and yeah, we're gonna get back at this thing, and so obviously it's been a lot that's been going on lately that I like to talk to talk about, which is obviously you got the Diddy trial going on. Uh, you got some NBA playoffs that's been happening. Today's Game 7, the Western Conference semis, Denver versus Oklahoma City Thunder. And so that's going to be a good game later on today. I'm going to talk about a little bit about that in a little minute. But and also you have the DDG and the Holly situation. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I ain't really going to get into much depth on that. I just wanted to, give you guys a few updates on certain stuff that I wanted to talk about, and also let you guys know that I'm back at it. It's been a hell of a long time since I've been on this thing. Just really just haven't had the motivation and the want to get on this thing. But I talked to my brother. He was like, "Man, you got to get back at this thing, man. You said you wanted to do it. You know, hey, you gotta be committed to doing it. It's not an easy thing. You gotta have this want to. So, but anyways, talk a little bit about this Diddy trial. Diddy trial. Excuse me. That happened the other day. That got started. But basically, um, really, what happened is they put Cassie, as a witness. Obviously, she was on the stand, and they talked about certain stuff about obviously, certain sexual acts that Diddy, wanted for her to do with, male escorts, and talked about how like, he would watch and how he would want certain stuff and he would do certain things. The crazy thing is, his kids actually were there, especially like his daughter, and I was actually surprised that he would have them there listening into all of that stuff about their dad, and I understand they have love for their dad and they just want to get through all this mess and get it over and done with, and hopefully, they feel like he should be able to come home and, but I know it's tough for them to be listening into all this stuff. But basically, with this case, is that Cassie took the stands, and obviously her husband was there, so he had to listen into some of that stuff. It got to the point where they actually had to tell him that he needed to leave, go on, I guess, to another room because I guess it was just so much to him to listen in on. So, but basically, Cassie was listening. Was not. Excuse me. Cassie was took the stands and basically telling everyone what happened, certain acts that Diddy liked. And they talked about obviously both of them doing drugs and things of that nature. And, it got to the point that, she broke down crying, talked about how she loved Diddy. Uh, you got people talk about, well, she's young and this or that. Yeah, she's young, but that don't excuse you for certain decisions. Yeah, he played a part in certain things, but she was a participant in some of those acts. She loved the lifestyle. She was on drugs herself. It got to the point where they said Diddy would call drug dealers and basically let them know, like, hey, stop serving her, stop selling her drugs. And so, you know, obviously we know the video that came out, the hotel hallway, Diddy, whooping her ass and stuff like that. So, you know, that, obviously created the outrage and for, prosecutors and people to come out and potentially, file a case on this thing, which I don't think the video of, her getting her ass whooped by him was the, end all be all. I just think that that just played a big role in, okay, we need to really look into this. Obviously it's not just domestic violence, it's sex trafficking, racketeering, which, right now, this domestic violence case and the situation with Cassie and is going to basically transition into the racketeering and domestic violence case. Obviously, you gotta watch more and read on more and continue to follow the case. And so basically, they just talked about what was it like being with Diddy, what was it like when you both were on drugs, and his lawyers and the people that were defending him were saying, yeah, Diddy was on drugs, but he was a functional, addict. He ran multiple businesses. They talked about all the different businesses that he could run, even him being a addict and things of that nature. He's the man. Listen, if you listen to some of the things that he wanted her to do and others, that motherfucker just a freaky ass motherfucker. That's all it is. That's all it is. I mean, to me, I don't see, is he forcing people to do certain stuff? Is he forcing people against their will? Is he, you know, kidnapping people and like forcing them to do this and that, and transporting them from one place to another, things of that nature? I just think that he was abusive and he wanted certain, treatment and things of that nature, and you just a freaky ass motherfucker. That's all I think it was. I don't think he forced no one to do anything that they didn't want to do or somebody didn't want to be there. My thing with the Cassie thing is that she loved the lifestyle, and I guess she might have felt some type of way because he didn't, push her, career or help her, in that regard per se, and he did it with someone else. Um, but my whole thing is it's gonna be up to maybe what could be a 7 month, 8 month trial, close to that. But we'll see how that thing goes though. It's just this intense thing going on there, you know. Um, Anyways, like I said, hit that like and subscribe button and follow me at Terrence underscore Gaston on my YouTube channel. Also follow me on Instagram at Terrence underscore Gaston and follow me on TikTok at Terrence underscore Gaston. Thank you. Like I said, hit that like and subscribe button and follow me. Outside of the Diddy thing, it just tells you how when you're a powerful person that you think you can get away with certain things and you think that you're untouchable. When the system wants to get you, they're gonna get you. They might not get you right then and there, but they're gonna get you when they're ready. And a lot of times, especially men, when you're so powerful and you have so much influence, you really gotta be mindful of how you move and and you do things because you're going to eventually get caught and they're going to make an example out of you. That's just the name of the game and the name of the beast. Anyways, let me get into a little bit of the DDG and Haley Bailey situation. Obviously, it came out the other day that she had said that DDG was physically, physical to her. Uh, she had posted some pictures of, I guess, her chipped tooth and a bruised elbow, I think it was. She also filed for a restraining order. She wanted full custody of their son Halo and things of that nature. All I'm gonna say is this, you know, one thing I learned is you gotta watch it who you have a baby with, both sides, men and women. You know, I don't condone hitting on women. I don't mean like if he hit that woman, I don't feel sorry for whatever happened, man, because at the end of the day, bro, that's the mother of your kid. She can't make you that mad to the point where you gotta, and they said her head got smashed onto the steering wheel of the car. you technically would have seen some bruises to the face and some bruises to her nose and bruises that would indicate that that happened. But like I said, we don't know what happened until things come out. They said it was a ring camera, so we'll see what that shows. But from my indication, and from afar, and I don't know DDG. Obviously, I've followed him a little bit and see some of his content. What I've seen him with his kid, and the reaction I get is that he has love for his kid. He loves his kid. Even though, like, I don't know why people trip about him having them on stream and stuff like that. Like, I want to be present in my kid's life. I want my kid to know that I love him and I want to be there in his life. And I want to share that, you know. And there's a lot of people out here complaining and in their feelings and talking shit. Y'all need to worry about what's going on in y'all house. Y'all got y'all shit straight. Cause it seems like y'all got all the answers to what's going on in this man and her life, but y'all can't seem to get y'all life and y'all shit straight. You know, I'm hoping that that's not the case with this situation. I'm hoping he didn't do that to her. You know, you got Ruby Rose that came out saying, "Oh yeah, he's abusive," or that's what I'm assuming she had said. Because I was hearing, clips, bits and clips that was the case. Which, you know, yeah, like, do you got proof of that? You know what I mean? But my whole thing is, when people say go to court, the court is not designed for the man to win at all. It is not, I mean, it's not. It's not. I just think that if you can be the best father you can be, that's the only thing you can ask. Is be the best father you can be, and don't let nobody else stop you from being that mother or whoever stop you from being a good father. And so, I just think that, if they can get over this, and he's able to, like, have, 50, and so it came out that he wanted 50-50, you know custody. Obviously she has it 50% of the time, he has him 50% of the time, and I guess she didn't want that. And I'm like, any woman that doesn't allow the father to have at least 50% of custody, and you have the other 50%, she really don't want you to be the father. She want control, because if I want, regardless of how you think I am as a father, if I am not harming my kid, when my kid is with me, he's safe. I have him. He's taken care of. He has everything that he needs when it comes to clothes, food, uh, anything that deals with his health. I'm on top of it. I'm not, harming him. Anything that you know affects the kid's life, I should have a say so. And too many times, I don't know why, how the hell women have so much, you know, when it comes to the kid, but the father doesn't. Like, it's like, you don't trust me at all to protect my kid. You really think I'm going to put my kid in harm's way? And so, you know, when that, hopefully this thing gets, becomes water under the bridge, and that's, it is what it is with that, because like I said, I don't condone, hitting women, and I don't condone women hitting men, because first of all, he knock your ass out if you truly wanted to. You ain't whooping no guy's ass, you know. And if you is whooping a guy ass, then he need to get the fuck away from you, and that's that. Uh, anyways, I want to talk a little bit about Game 7, baby. Two great words in sports. Game 7 between the Denver Nuggets and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, OKC had a chance. They had a chance to, you know, uh, had a chance. They had a chance to, you know, they had a chance to, you know, win Game 6. I'm sorry, I got distracted a little bit. They had a chance to win Game 6. They didn't. They got their ass kicked by Denver in Denver. Um, no one else helped Shea. Nobody. Jokic went off. Jamal Murray went off. Jokic, man, listen, I know Shea has had a hell of a season, great season, number one seed again. But Jokic, you know, he's the MVP. He's the best player in the world. It's not even close. You know, his passing ability, he can score, his rebounding, he makes everyone around him better. And so, you know, Jamal Murray showed up finally, like I said, in these 6 games, no one has really showed up consistent for Jokic. And so now he has someone to show up in game 6. But for OKC and Shea, you know, Williams, he has to show up, man. You're the second option for a reason. Chet, I know he's young and he's coming along, but he needs to be able to come along fast. It's playoff time. You're trying to compete to get to the conference finals. You're trying to win an NBA championship, and you need your guys to show up consistently. Now, game 7 today, later at 3 o'clock, and OKC, which is going to be a hostile environment. The fans are going to be rocking, and Shea needs his guys to show up. He needs Jalen Williams to show up. He needs Chet Holmgren to show up. He needs all his other guys to show up. And for obviously, for Denver, Jokic, he's going to show up. Jokic is going to show up. He's going to do his thing. Is everybody on Denver's going to show up? Is Jamal Murray going to show up? Now, late in game 6, not Michael Porter Jr., I forgot my man's name that quick, but it's going to come to me. Who's going to show up for Denver? You know, who's going to show up? Is Michael Porter Jr. going to show up and give them more than 4 points per game? Because he really has not been consistent at all in this series, at all. Go look at his shooting number from the 3-point line. Go look at his points. And so it's going to have to be Jamal Murray. You really can't really count on Westbrook. You just have to hope that he brings the energy, be consistent. Make his free throws, don't turn the ball over, and be that energy bunny that he can be. Aaron Gordon, Aaron Gordon late in Game 6. Aaron Gordon had a pulled hamstring a little bit. He said after the game he went and got treatment done, and he'll be working on that by the time Game 7 gets here. And so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, man. I got OKC. I think OKC can win at home and end this series in Game 7. I think that the others will show up and play well, and we'll see OKC versus Minnesota in the conference finals. And so, New York, New York, New York. The New York Knicks beat the Boston Celtics in Game 6, and it was not close. That was an ass whooping. They was up by as many as 40 at halftime. 40. And, people were sitting there talking about, oh, Boston plays better without Jason Tatum. No, the hell they don't. That's why he's the best player. That's any idiot out there running their mouth talking about, Jaylen Brown, which he's a great player, and he's the Finals MVP, the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. But he ain't better than JT from Duke. and they just got their ass kicked. New York just came out and just said, "Hell no, we gonna end this. We ain't going back to Boston for no game 7. We gonna end this tonight and get our rest so we can play Wednesday against the Indiana Pacers, which is gonna be a hell of a series, a hell of a series." And so, you know, uh, Jalen Brunson really didn't need to have a big game. He played, pretty much okay because they came out and they just blew them out the building. They didn't. A lot of their guys did not have to play too much in the second half. You know, um, they were able to get off their feet so they can get some rest and prepare for Wednesday and get ready for this Eastern Conference Finals. The first time that the Knicks have been to the Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years, I was 2 years old. I was 2 years old. You know, matter of fact, I would have been like 4 or 5 because it was in 2000, I think it was. So I think I'd have been like 3, maybe 4. So yeah, it's been a long time, and I think it's gonna be a 7-game series with them in Indiana. Indiana's gonna come out, they can score, and they can defend also. They have the perimeter defenders. Tyrese Halliburton is a true point guard. I think he's a top 3 point guard. And he's playing like it in the playoffs. But that is going to be a great Eastern Conference Finals. Back to Boston, I think they're going to have to change some things up on their roster. They're not going to be the same team. They have a high, a lot of players making a lot of money, and they're going to have to do some adjustments to their roster. And so we'll see how that goes. Jason Tatum obviously is out with an Achilles. He's going to be out for at least a year. So we'll see how long is that recovery. I think he's going to bounce back stronger. And so, yeah. And, yeah, it's going to be a hell of a conference finals, East and West. I just can't wait to get it started, and we'll see how that goes. But anyways, I'm back, and we're gonna get this thing going. I just can't wait. Like I said, guys, I'm back, man. It's been a while since I've been on this thing. I gotta get back at it. Give you guys some more content. Give you guys some more this great content, and we'll go from there. Like I said, hit that like and subscribe button. Terrence _Gaston, and I appreciate you guys. And you guys have a great Sunday.